Boink. There we are.
Okay, we're here. It's after lunch.
Yep.
Round 2, session 2.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think we should talk about?
Well, I think we kind of need to finish up a little bit with Cyprus. Just seemed to be always something going on there. I know that we had some kind of interesting things went on during the day. Remember one time there, lady across the street, and she put. Oh, I'll get that later. Anyway, they got to put a dryer on in her garage, and
Installing a dryer?
no, she was drying her clothes, and the next thing, I noticed smoke coming out of the garage, and I went, "Oh my God!" And somehow or other, they didn't clean out the lint. It was gas, and they didn't clean the lint thing, and they had a big long extension, and that thing started on fire. Yeah. I got over there just enough time to pull it apart and stop it, but yeah. Little things like that. It always gives me somebody going out and doing something like that, and just luckily there was always somebody around to keep from having a big problem.
Actually caught on fire and you saw it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You were outside?
It was burning. Yeah, it was in my garage. Yeah. I can't remember who that. Oh God, I can't remember the name of that person. Brotherton.
Go ahead and take it.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Joseph.
Hi. How are you?
This is good. This is Christy Brotherton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. This is a number to use. I'm getting rid of my home line, so the 213 number is the one you want to use.
So many people are doing that.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah, because
I mean, everybody uses cell phones.
yes, yeah, I know the phone company is probably taking a pretty good hit right now, but they'll survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you heard from Nubia?
I haven't heard, the last I heard
Mm-hmm.
a couple of days ago was that some lady had spotted a cat that looked like the
Oh, but I mean, as far as her husband, he had the fireman, the one that had some burns or something.
She said he's recuperating.
Yeah, because I haven't heard from her either. I sent her a little text message, and
Really? And you haven't heard from
no, I was very surprised.
Yeah, that is surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well.
Yeah. And once in a while I'll check her Facebook page to see if she's done it. She hasn't been on Facebook.
No, I don't do that. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to get. I don't know. Did Rosa call you at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
She did. She called me and she said to call you to find out. She said that you were thinking about a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, I gotta try to pick a day. Is that good for you?
I normally do.
Yeah.
But the 28th is my friend's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have a question mark like
Okay.
about what we're going to do.
Well,
So I don't know. I might be available.
well, we want everybody to be available, so I'll collect dates that.
Well, then I'm free July 6th.
Okay. Let me write this down. Give me a minute. Oh. Okay. Hang on one second. So you're free. What days again?
July 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday. And of course, I'm free. Are you talking about Tuesday?
Yeah, July.
Okay. Yeah, July 5th. I'm pretty available on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, July. Yeah, Wednesdays seem to be the. Okay, well let's. How about the week after that, the 12th?
July 12th. Yeah, I'm free.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can put this together. And I'll put those 2 dates down there.
Okay.
And we'll see who else calls.
What's best for you?
Well, those Wednesdays are the best for Rosa and I. We both talked about that. So,
Should I call together people for you? Since I have everything.
yeah, okay. Well, you can. I was having Rosa do that. I don't know who she's talked to, but okay. Yeah,
You want to know if I want to call everybody else? I already got theirs.
yeah, okay. Well, why don't you do that? And I was thinking of Jennifer and Nubia. That's the only ones I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if
Give them a call.
good, and let me know, and whatever, it should work out. All right, thank you so much. Thanks, Christy. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Sorry. Okay, R.
Okay.
Jesus. July 5th. What the hell's July 5th? Calendar. I'll tell you, I really hate this fucking thing. I mean, really fucking hate this thing. I really do. Jesus. Days, weeks, month. All right. All right. What? Okay. July 5th to the 12th. The 12th is better. Okay. You know, what's the old saying? No good deed goes unpunished.
Yep.
Yep. That's the way this is. We'll see. I'm just trying to get a little gathering of our group, but there we go. We'll see.
Let me see what the air blower guy's gonna do.
Well, he's just finishing up.
Yeah, he went down the driveway.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on a second.
Yeah, he's probably
Yeah, he's back on the street. That's fine.
just pulled down.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I was thinking of just, some little incidences. One night there was a guy that lived kitty corner from us, and he had this old little hot rod, and I was upstairs in our new room up there that we just put on, and I hear all this commotion about 2:00 in the morning, and there's 2 kids, and they're stealing the hubcaps off this car. So I'm looking at them, and I go, So I go down to my garage, and they took off. So I just scooted out of my garage and went down to. Oh, here comes this guy.
Go.
Went down to the park and over there in back of what is it, Thrifty's that was there or whatever, and they're sitting there, and I just pulled up behind them, and I pulled up next to them, and I said to them, "All right, you guys, it's going to either be give me the hubcaps or I'm going to call the cops." and it was 2 kids that I knew. And they had this look on their face like, oh man. And they give me the hubcaps, and I brought them back and give them to the guy the next day. But it was kind of a good lesson, I think, for them.
Yeah.
They probably say, yeah.
Were they friends of your kids?
Yeah, they were the same age. Yeah, they were like, I don't know, 16-year-olds, 15, 16-year-old guys. But it was pretty comical, very comical.
You never ran across those kids again?
No, I've seen them, with the guys, but they didn't think I knew them, so I just let it rest. It's kind of cute.
Just trying to avoid you.
Yeah.
Oh no, Mr. Cusimano's got
Yeah.
a rat fink on us.
Well, I know my son Louis came back and says, "You got those guys stealing hubcaps?" I said, "Yeah, your buddies." Yeah, he says, "They're pretty nervous." I said, "Tell them, just try not to do stuff like that in the neighborhood or anywhere else." Yeah, that's cute. So,
How old were they?
They probably, like I say, they're probably 15, 16-year-old
Okay.
kids. Yeah, had cars.
Adolescent, getting into
Yeah,
high school,
just
getting
getting
into
their
trouble.
cars. You know,
Too much testosterone ruining their brains.
well, that happens.
Yeah,
That
it does happen
That happens with a lot of kids.
all the time.
But in general, I mean, it was a pretty quiet neighborhood. You know, I guess the only thing that ever was really traumatic was Odin there. You remember? Do you remember? Were you there? Remember he got somebody? I don't know what was going on, but he got shot in his garage.
Oh yeah.
And there was a lot of rumors about that, but he was lucky to survive because it was point blank range, and
Yeah.
he survived that. And got shot in the hip. But yeah, nobody could ever figure out why. But
Yeah,
there
they
was a
thought
lot
it
of
was somebody,
guessing.
maybe he got laid off or something like that.
Well, I don't know. He was like a big foreman in some company, so
Yeah.
maybe he was something drastically wrong there. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that
Yeah.
very succinctly.
Eddie Odin, and I forget the daughter's name. She was a friend.
Oh,
She was a friend of Kurt's.
yeah, Raul. Raul was the older brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Eddie, and then there was a daughter, but I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I don't remember at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit of friends with him on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
good.
haven't seen. I actually have seen him once. He was in the neighborhood
Oh.
back in the day.
Yeah, they come through. Kurt's been through several times, and you know he always reminisces about that. My son, he really enjoyed that area. You know, that's what they knew. That's where they grew up. So, and he and Kenny were always up to something. always doing stuff, and oh man, and he and Kenny are still good friends. He's been at each other's weddings, and yeah,
Oh, good.
and yeah, Kenny's been through a couple of wives now, so, and he moved up to, I think he's up in Oregon now, and he was a mechanic. I think he worked on all kinds of cars. So, yeah, they all turned out okay. Everybody's managed to stay out of trouble now finally.
Yeah, I don't really stay. I only stay in contact with truly one friend from high school. Mm-hmm. I know a few random people here and there, but
Yeah,
not that I see on any regular basis.
yeah. Well, that's the one thing I've always had at least. He's coming back here now. I've always had at least 10 friends that I talked to during the year.
Yeah.
High school friends, and that's dwindling awful fast. Awful fast. We're all 80 years old this year, so you know if somebody's around, we're more than happy to.
That's from your high school days?
Yeah.
And where was that?
Jamestown, New York, outside of Buffalo, little bitty town. That it was like Mayberry over there.
So is that south of Buffalo?
Yeah, actually, I think it's like southwest of Buffalo. Buffalo, it kind of sits up here, and it's on pretty close to Lake Erie, which
Okay.
Buffalo is too.
Is that 150 miles?
It's about 75 miles away.
Okay.
It's one of the cloudiest places in the United States. Rated that. I mean, it's just, we used to, in the summertime there, if you wanted to go on a picnic, if the sun was out on a Saturday, you know, because everybody's off work,
Yep.
somebody would holler, "We're going on a picnic." You just jump in the car and go for it. By the time the end, if you went early enough, by the time the end of the day, you usually got rained out somehow, or it got so cloudy. Yeah, we used to go to Allegheny State Park. Yeah, really, really fun as kids.
Yeah, I still have a good friend who lives in Buffalo that I met while I was in Buffalo working.
Ah,
And we stay mildly in touch. I keep meaning to go back there just to say hi to him.
yeah.
But
Well, it gets beautiful in the summertime, and then the problem is there's only about 3 months, June, July, and August. Then September, the winds change and it gets cool, and
Yeah,
and
that's-
October, Halloween, many Halloweens there's snow, many, and then that snow lasts, right into May sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you spent all your childhood years there.
Yeah, till I was 17. Then I visited my uncles when I was about 14, I guess. Yeah, my dad drove out here. And it was kind of an interesting story because they didn't have credit cards in 1957
Right.
like they have now. So you had to plan your money, how you're going to spend it, mileage. You figured all that out. So we went to California. We did Disneyland. Had only been open a couple of years, and my parents went to Tijuana. Tijuana used to be a big trip for people from back east in the 50s. You go downtown Tijuana, and they had a donkey out there on a cart, and then you sit in the cart with the big sombreros. I mean, I've seen hundreds of those pictures. Taking a picture in TJ. Yeah. And we went to, drove, of course. We drove in a 55 Chevy. My brother and sister and I in the back, mom and dad in the front. And they argued all the way. We called it the Not Desi and Lucy road trip. And they had some battles. And they, I don't know, they just never did get along. But we got in Amarillo, Texas, and that's just like a big old straight line. And my mother and dad, they had a big beef, and my dad said, well, I had enough. Pulled over, got out of the car, and just says, I'm walking. And he says, you go to California, and I'll meet you there or something. And we're all sitting there, and my mother jumps in the front and takes off. You see my dad, you see a full size, and all of a sudden it just shrinks away. And we're going, oh, my God. She drives about an hour. Drives an hour out. And she comes back. Like I say, it's a big long miles and miles of straight road there. And she comes back and pulls up next to him, and he's walking away. Finally, he gets in the car, and they carry on after that. Oh, God. And it was one thing after another. And we get into Needles, and it was really hot. We had no air conditioning, by the way. They had them little sacks you strap on the side that you fill with water, and it keeps it, you only sweat 90% instead of 100. And my dad had a piece of, he had a piece of newspaper in a window because his arm was all sunburned.
Right.
And goes to make a left turn and runs a motorcycle cop off the road. The guy comes over to him, and he sees these New York plates, and he starts on the New York thing, and you New York guys, and blah blah blah, and boo on, just hollering at him. The cop was, man, my dad was my size. He was about 5'6" then, and this guy was probably 6 foot, or just looking at my dad. And my dad just told him, well, you know what? I didn't hit you, so just this and that. And they started really arguing about it. Well, he says, you got to watch. He said, I was watching. Then they went back and forth. And my dad said, well, you know what? I survived being in World War II. I'm going to survive you too. So either give me a ticket or let's get out of here. And the cop says, get out of here, he told him. So that was that. My mother was telling him, oh, shut up. He's going to take you away. He just kept giving this guy a bad time. And finally he shut up, and the guy told him to get the heck out. But it was quite a trip because we got a lot of rain. We got into Indianapolis on the way out, and when we got there, everything was flooded. The streets were flooded. We wanted to see the Indianapolis racetrack, but it was underwater. It was just a lot of water. So things like that. That's the way the trip went. But when we came here, that's how I got interested in California.
After you came.
Yeah, in '57, like I was 14, and this my uncle Ange and my aunt, they said, we got a friend of ours that has a swimming pool. They owned a furniture company. That's friends of theirs. So he says, you want to go swimming? I said, yeah, because I had never been in a swimming pool, not at a private residence. They just didn't have those back east.
Right.
I'm sure somebody did, but we never saw any. So they take me over there, and I think my brother and sister were with me. I'm not sure anymore. But she gives me this. She says, well, she says, there's the slide. You get up on the slide and you slide in the water. And she gives me a little pail. She says, put this pail right up there. There's a little place to hang the pail. She says, do you see those things? Do you see that fruit hanging on the trees up there? I go, yeah. She says, they're apricots. So you get up on the slide, you take it out, you take the pit out, and then you eat the apricot and you go down the slide. And I'm going, and those apricots were the most delicious. I mean, they were just wonderful. So I ate about a half a dozen of those going up and down the slide. And I said, man, this California is really something. And then I went with my cousin, and he had a brand new 57 T-Bird with the portholes in it.
Right.
And we cruised everywhere in that thing, up the beach. And at night, we'd go over to the place called the Witch Stand, and the girls would be there serving, in the windows. They'd put the little hook on you. And, oh man, it was like a movie.
Different than Buffalo, but different than Jamestown.
I never got over it. I never did. And when I got back home, I went, man. And my dad wanted to go to California after the war, but my mother wasn't about to leave her mom or her sisters, so he stayed in Jamestown. But he really loved California. And so I graduated in June, and August 1st, I was 17 years old. I was living in California.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend that. It was just
To be 17 and
too
that
much.
young.
Too much of a change. I wasn't mentally. I wasn't ready for it. And the good thing was our families really took care of us. I had 3 uncles and aunts out here, and they said, you come, and they switched off, so you could eat anytime you want. Just let them know. They invited you. So that went on for a long time. And I got started and got a little job bagging groceries and
What'd your parents say?
nothing.
They just, I'm 17 years old, I'm still a minor, and I'm leaving?
Yeah, I turned 18 that year in August. So I went out. I came to California and spent about 3 months, and then I think I went home close to Thanksgiving. And when I got there, I just knew I didn't belong.
Yeah.
I knew this wasn't the place I was going to live. So my mother was upset. And that's how I ended up out here. And then I got to working for my uncles, digging ditches, doing whatever I could. And then I got into the plumbing apprentice program, which was good. And went to that, and the rest is pretty much
history.
living, just living, trying to make a living. And I had a wonderful apprenticeship, and it was good. It was good. Worked hard, because all the material we used in plumbing at that time was
Raw material.
all steel. Nothing was light. Everything was very heavy. So, yeah. But it did okay. Did okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
You're here?
yeah.
Lasted a bunch of people?
Yeah, I mean, I have, and I did other things. I worked as a longshoreman for a couple of months. One summer, there wasn't a lot of work coming out of the hall, so I went and worked for those. They let us in, and we did all kinds of, mostly the grunt work. We got, things like unloading bananas, or hides, or really some nasty
Cargo and that kind of work.
Really some nasty work. DDT once. In the hole, DDTs. You worked an hour on, an hour off. And there was no, there wasn't any like mask and stuff like you have today.
Right.
None of that stuff. You just worked in the hole. So, yeah.
Rough conditions of the 50s.
Yes, those were 60s. Those are 60 to 70, yeah. Yeah. So, and then you saw, our neighborhood developed, and, the kids started growing up, and then they started driving, and that was a whole nother era, of sometimes there was problems with it, because parking was always a problem. Nobody wanted somebody else's kids parking in front of their house. So I used to have to listen to people, oh, can't you tell your kid not to park in front of my house? And we said, well, you know what? It's a public street.
Yeah.
It didn't make any difference.
Yep.
So they'd say, okay, just to keep the peace. Minor junk. So then we got mixed up. Over the years, all the kids played soccer and baseball.
Yeah, I remember Kimmy playing a lot of soccer.
So there's a lot of soccer, and Louie and Kurt did the same, and baseball teams, and we traveled all over Orange County. We traveled everywhere. So they did good. They did it. It was fun. Met a lot of. That's where we met most of our friends.
Yeah.
Through the. That's where I met Jimmy Burns, one of my friends today. And matter of fact, Jimmy's turning 90 in October. Unbelievable. No, he's he's 10 years older than I am, and just a lot of nice people, really, a lot of nice people. And then same with work. We met Jeannie and I. We went to work. We just met a lot of people because we went, and after a number of years, we lived in Sherman Oaks, so that's how we met a lot of people there. I don't know, it's just life, all of a sudden you sit back and you reflect and you just go, wow, I mean, we knew a lot of people. We still do, even though she's not here. I mean, and you saw the phone call I got from her old boss, and yeah. So I don't know, just amazing what goes on.
Yeah, long road traveled.
Yeah, I mean, I think about where we started. We started in Inglewood, and my cousin Richard and I lived together down there, and that's kind of where I met Linda. Well, it was where I met Linda. She was an airline hostess for TWA, and the place we stayed, there was a bunch of stews there, and we all became friends. And then her and I got married after, I don't know, about a year and a half. It was fast. Yeah. Very fast. But I sometimes would like to sit down and just write, see if I could remember all these people that I know. I mean, seriously, it's really something. Just people that you had, not so much friendship, just relationship, something somebody said or did, or you spent some time with somebody one weekend, you had a good time. I mean, just hundreds of people. You don't really realize how many there are.
Keep inventory of everybody.
I mean, really a lot. Oh. But then I look at my photo books, and I look at all the family ones. I mean, there are hundreds of pictures in there of when they were all kids, and I kept pictures of the whole family because everybody would send Christmas cards. So over the years, I've kept all those, and
it's a lot of memorabilia.
Oh yeah, you can actually see the kids growing. You see them when they're 6 and 7 and 8, 10 years old, and getting married. I mean, all that stuff. Yeah. Sometimes you just go. Sometimes it makes you kind of melancholy. You look at it and say, God, what didn't I see during that time with all these kids? Because there was a lot, and there still is a lot. So that's why I try to, at my age now, I just attend things and don't say much and just watch and listen and try to laugh as much as I can. That's about it.
Yep, try and keep moving forward.
Yep. Yeah, well, forward is a good idea. But you don't move as fast anymore. Not as fast. No. What else is I tell you? Well, I think some of those were without a doubt. If you picked some of the top times of your life. I mean, raising a family, being a father. You knew you had to work, and the kids were the kids, and your wife was your wife, and your dad. Dad and I did a lot of things together.
Yep.
And it was always fun coming home because, there's just a lot going on. It was really a family thing. So that's the one thing. Being in this house right now, it gets pretty quiet.
Yep.
But you learn how to live with it.
Yep.
But you don't really want to. So yeah. I don't know what else to tell you. Don't know. That's about it, I think, for me.
Have to talk about some photos next.
Yeah, I don't know if I could dig them out.
If we have time.
Yeah, I think I'd have to do some digging. Yeah, I got, when we got married, Jeannie and I got married, your dad was the best man. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, and I've got a few pictures of him, and I got pictures of he and I, all having a snort, and what else? Gail's wedding when we got dressed up. Was it 87 or something like that? 86, 87?
I don't remember at this point.
Yeah.
Been so many years gone by.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there was always, some good things came down. And, we got together with service, Bob and Sue. And we got together, them guys, and we go out. Bob and Sue, they were big time eaters, those guys. I mean, big. And, every week they wanted to go Chinese or something. Every couple of weeks they'd come down, they'd show up with Frankie and want to go there, Chinese food. Because he'd order some interesting stuff. Some of it you want to try and some of it you didn't. No. There was one dish I remember, it was nothing but fat.
Yeah.
With a brown sauce.
Yep.
Oh my God. And you look at it and you go, and you go, just cut a little piece. You cut a little piece and you taste it. It was like out of this world. It tasted so good. But you was like, oh man.
Yeah, I could never get used to that.
Oh man.
I don't remember what that's called.
I don't either. Yeah. But Bobby ate everything. I don't care what it was.
Yep.
He ate
that was well known.
everything, that guy. That's like a vacuum cleaner. So it was nice. And their daughter, what was her?
Renee and...
Oh, there's more than one?
Renee is the younger brother, but was friends with Gail.
Gail. That's the one I know. I don't know the other one.
And there was another older sister, too. Somehow does something with the Ronnie storage.
Oh, I don't remember that. I don't remember her. Yeah. Well, I guess I can try to dig some stuff out.
Yeah, let's take a break.
I don't know. It's everywhere. I think it's all kind of glued together somehow.
What time are you leaving? Are you leaving tonight?
No, tomorrow.
Just tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I'll probably leave about 8:30 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.